Protests and rallies across the country are sparking important and also uncomfortable conversations about race. And it's important that you also know how to have those conversations at work. So this morning, Patricia David, who is the founder and president of Defeat Racism at Work, and also the president and CEO for the Arizona chapter of the National Association of African Americans in Human Resources, is joining us to help guide us through this conversation. Patricia, thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you, Noelani, for having us. We're happy to be here.
So you say that this is the time for employers to really take a stance and address racism with their employees through thoughtful conversation and address something that you say not a lot of people are even familiar with, and that's the idea of white fragility. Explain that to me and why these conversations are so important.
So we've been doing diversity, equity, and inclusion training for a long time, and that's good. But we really never got to the nub of it, which is race. And that's because we're not comfortable talking about race. We may talk about race in our own circles, but we certainly don't talk about race across our different groups. And so if you can't make a change around race, then you're missing the boat in terms of trying to make your workplace an inclusive organization.
Now, a lot of companies will do mandatory diversity training in the workplace, but often that requires watching a video. So your organization, Defeat Racism at Work, offers training with employees and employers. So paint the picture for me and talk about what we get out of a training session with you.
We offer a facilitated conversation with two, and this is going to be virtual now, with two highly trained and professional Black facilitators to take people through a facilitated conversation around race. We start with a little education. What's this thing called race? What's this thing called white fragility? So we're all on the same page. Provide a little history. But then we'll go into some breakout rooms and struggle with the hard questions. For example, in your field, who is recognized and who is not recognized for talking about race? Then we close it with an ally, advocate, accomplice conversation where you can jump in and then debrief with the leadership.
Now, you also said that there are some ways right now, and maybe you can kind of give us an idea of things that we can be doing right now as employees, as employers, to make a difference within our own workplace.
Well, so I'm the Director of Human Resources at Girl Scouts, the best leadership development program for girls. And one of the things that we do is have a book club, a very simple book club. We read a couple of chapters every week, so we don't try to read the whole book. And that is something very easy to do. And the book I would recommend is How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, or White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo.
We talked earlier and you said things that a boss can do, simple as who sits next to them in a meeting.
Exactly. So whether it's a nod in a conference room or a nod on a Zoom meeting that indicates that I'm listening to her, or asking that person first what their opinion is. If you have a networking event, even if you're not a CEO or a boss, even if you're just a peer, standing next to that person to make sure that person has allies is important for the visual to know that we are really looking for teamwork here. And teamwork requires trust. And trust requires the person to be able to come in as a whole person. And if you can't bring your whole person in, which includes race, then you're not going to be able to get to authentic trust.
What are the best ways to reach out and get in contact?
You can call us at 480-442-9195, or you can send an email to Defeat Racism at Work.
Wonderful. These are such important conversations, and sometimes you simply need the right facilitator to start them. Patricia, I thank you so much for your time and your guidance this morning.
Thank you so much for having us. We are very excited to do this work.